Hi everyone, a very good morning to all of you. Today is 11th of April and I welcome you all to the Hindu newspaper analysis discussion. Guys, in this particular article, we are going to take up all the relevant articles from newspaper that are important for our examination. And also I would like to tell you that you can download this PDF which have the synoptic notes of all articles. This PDF is available on our Telegram channel and the link for Telegram is given in the description box in YouTube. So you can download it there from there. Now, let's get started. In every class, we start with a GS quotation. And the idea of this particular quotation and the reason behind this particular quotation is to give you some content that you can utilize while writing your mains answer or in essay paper. So today we are going to take the quotation from Potter Stewart. So Potter Stewart says that ethics is knowing the difference between what you have a right to do and what is right to do. Now, often we have certain rights and we want to enjoy these rights in an absolute sense, but sometimes your right might cause some damage. Your right might cause some damage. It might cause harm to some other person. So, is it really necessary that you should exercise your right in that particular time? Rights are important. Rights are your political entitlements, but you need to understand that you might have right to do certain things, but is it really correct? Is it really justified? So understanding this difference will suffice the meaning of ethics. So a very impactful quotation that ethics is knowing that it is the art of knowing the difference between what you have a right to do and actually what is right to do. You can use this quotation in GS paper number 4, ethics, integrity and aptitude. So that is about it. And now let's get started with the first article. Now, guys, see, today's Hindu newspaper, if you have seen, there are many pages which are specifically devoted to the coverage with respect to elections. Okay, then what has happened? There is the Lokniti CSDS survey that has been released. On that, there are a lot of articles that are there. Okay, so point is that in the today's newspaper, you'll find very few articles which are actually important for examination. Okay, so you need to be very, very selective in the today's newspaper. Much important articles we don't have political and such kind of a coverages as there. Okay, so first article that we'll be taking is the advent of holistic approach to One Health. Now, this article will take with respect to GS paper number 2, issues related to health. Issues related to health within social justice. So, guys, understand this particular thing that when we talk about this GS paper number 2, GS paper number 2 contains, first of all, there are the issues related to polity, historical background of constitution, comparison of constitution. After polity, the second section is with respect to the social justice and developmental issues in GS paper number 2. Now, in these developmental issues, the issues related to health will come, issues related to education will come. Fine. So, here we are going to see it. Now, before going in this particular article, let's understand that first of all, what is this particular word One Health means, and then we'll see that okay, what the holistic approach they are talking about. Okay, so guys, understand this particular thing that basically what has happened, we have seen that there are so many, we see this particular thing that there are so many of the zoonotic diseases that have emerged in the last few years. Okay, in fact, when we talk about the COVID pandemic, SARS-CoV-2, COVID pandemic, SARS-CoV-2, its origin is zoonotic in nature. Zoonotic in nature. Now, zoonotic diseases are those diseases whose natural host are wild animals or wild creatures. Now, understand this thing that any virus, any disease that we talk about, fine. See, there is one natural host, then there is accidental host. Natural host and accidental host. Natural host for any virus is that creature which will carry the virus, but that virus will not impact him, or the pathogen will not impact that creature. For example, Nipah virus is there. Nipah virus is there. Yes, Nipah is there. Now, Nipah virus is carried by fruit bat. It is carried by fruit bat. Okay. Now, Nipah virus is carried by fruit bat. When fruit bat will eat any food crop, okay, and when that food crop will be eaten by human, what happens? Human get infected, and the humans, they get diseased. Now this Nipah virus is being carried by the fruit bat, but fruit bat will not get impacted. Why? Because fruit bat is a natural host. Now human has become accidental host. Okay, so humans will be impacted. Now, so understand this thing. Now the concept of One Health comes. So One Health idea provides this thing that if you want to keep humans healthy, you want to keep humans healthy, we need to take three things together. Number one, we need to keep our animals healthy. We need to keep our animals healthy. Secondly, we need to keep our environment healthy. And then third, we need to ensure that the human health is there. So basically, here, idea of One Health lies in between. Idea of One Health lies. What idea of One Health provides? Idea of One Health provides that animal health, environmental health, and human health, they all are needed to be taken together. You cannot compartmentalize it. You cannot say that, okay, we want to keep human healthy and human will stay healthy even if our animals are not healthy, even if our environment is not healthy. Now, you see this thing that what will happen? What is meaning that the environment is not healthy? Means that environment is polluted. Environmental pollution is going to impact the human. Environmental pollution is going to impact the human. Fine. So environmental pollution is going to impact a human. Same way, animals, fine. If now understand this thing that if we'll not keep the principled distance between, if human encroachments in wild will not stop, then humans cannot stay healthy. So One Health idea is to ensure health of all. It is to ensure health of all animal, environment, and human together. Okay. Now, this idea has become quite popular after this COVID pandemic emerged. Now, guys, India also taking in account the idea of the One Health, and now what has happened? We have come out with the National One Health Mission. National One Health Mission. Now, in this, to implement this National One Health Mission, what has happened? Now, first of all, Prime Minister's Science, Technology and Innovation Advisory Council. Okay, Prime Minister's Science, Technology and Innovation Advisory Council has provided that this National One Health Mission needs to be a program of convergence. Now, what is the meaning of the program of convergence? So basically, program of convergence means any initiative where multiple ministries, multiple departments come together to achieve a common objective. That is called as the program of convergence. Now understand this thing. What has happened? Prime Minister's Science, Technology uh, and Innovation Advisory Council said that we need to bring 13 ministries and departments, 13 ministries and departments together for the holistic approach to health and pandemic. For example, guys, see, we have the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. Fine. We have Ministry of Environment. Okay. Now, within these ministries, there are multiple departments that we have. Fine. We have, okay. So we need to bring these 13 departments and ministries together. Now, this for this under this National One Health Mission, we are also going to start the National Institute for One Health. And this National Institute for One Health, it is being inaugurated in Nagpur. It is being inaugurated in Nagpur, and even the foundation stone of this particular institute has been laid by Prime Minister. So this is an example that what steps we have taken in the direction of implementation of One Health initiative. Now, what this National Institute for One Health is going to focus upon? It is going to focus upon integrated disease surveillance, joint outbreak response. If in case, let's say, Nipah virus outbreak was there, fine, in the past, fine, what type of response is needed to be given? Coordinated research and development. Now you see, there is a Department of Biotechnology. Fine, we have the basically ICAR, we have the CSIR, many bodies are there which carry research and development in their specific domains. Now, how integrated research and development can be carried, particularly in order to ensure that the health outbreaks, pandemic outbreaks can be avoided. That focus will also be there. Also, Then focus will be there on information sharing to control the diseases which can affect human, animals, and environment. Why all three? Because we are talking about the One Health. Now, also, what will be done? A network of labs for high risk pathogens fine has been created. Now understand this thing, guys. There is one additional point I just want you to know. Please note down. There is one more specific mission that the government had started, that is PM Abhim. PM Abhim. Under this PM Abhim, government is going to develop health infrastructure across country in order to deal with the future outbreak of pandemic. And as a part of this PM Abhim, what will be done? Biosafety labs will be developed, diagnostic labs will be developed, critical health facilities will be developed. Okay, so this is one more program that is going on. You can just write it. So also under this national one health mission, a network of labs for high risk pathogens fine will be has been created. Also, what will be done? Application of artificial intelligence, machine learning, fine, disease modeling to enhance the epidemiology. So, epidemiology is the branch of science which studies the diseases and their outbreaks. Fine, data analytics capability. Okay. Now, also, when we talk about, guys, G20, you know that 2023 G20 was hosted by India, and in the G20 also we have emphasized that the world countries need to recognize One Health. We need to recognize One Health. Fine. Also, this has been there. Now, what needs to focused up? What needs to be focused upon? What is the way forward in this particular direction? Number one, what you need to tell? We need to strengthen the R&D, research and development, in developing vaccine, therapeutics, diagnostics. Okay, fine. And for that, schemes such as PM Abhim. For that, what we need to do? We need to promote the One Health mission. Then next is that there needs to be a coordination between center, state, and other stakeholders. Now, guys, understand this thing, that when we talk about health under schedule 7 is in the state list. It is in the state list, but at the same time it is in the state list, but at the same time the union government also has certain responsibilities, that through a lot of through certain flagship schemes it need to support the state government. Okay, so therefore center government, state government, now in stakeholders, non-governmental organization, civil societies, academia, okay, pharmaceutical companies, they need to come together for the effective implementation of One Health initiative. Also, we need to focus on genome surveillance. Now, what is genome is a complete set of one's genetic information, Okay, now genomic surveillance, why it is important? Because by that we can know better about the disease, its outbreak. Then the next is encouraging global cooperation. And see, understand this thing, that we cannot stay healthy if the entire world does not implement the One Health concept. So what we need to do? We need to encourage a global cooperation to develop a network of One Health institutes across countries. And these One Health institutes, what they need to focus upon? They need to focus upon antimicrobial resistance. Now, according to WHO, World Health Organization, the next pandemic that will be there, that will be the pandemic of antimicrobial resistance. Now, what is antimicrobial resistance? Antimicrobial resistance refers to the phenomena when pathogens or microbes such as bacteria, parasites, fungi, they become resistant to the antimicrobial drugs. They become resistant to the antibiotics. Okay, that is the antimicrobial resistance. Okay, then food safety, climate change impact, fine, regulation over the wet markets. Now, what are the wet markets? Wet markets are the markets where the live animals are sold. So in China there are these wet markets where live crabs, fishes, and all such creatures are sold. Okay, then what we need to do? We need to engage various sectors. Fine, to frame some actionable task. Okay, and then we'll be able to move closer to One Earth, One Health, and health for all. Okay, this is all about it. Now, guys, I was just telling you about this particular scheme, that is the PM Abhim. So, just I will show you this PM Abhim also. Yes. So, PM Abhim, it stands for Pradhan Mantri, Pradhan Mantri, प्रधानमंत्री आयुष्मान भारत हेल्थ इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर मिशन, प्रधानमंत्री आयुष्मान भारत हेल्थ इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर मिशन. Now what are the components of this particular mission? The components of this particular mission is to develop the facilities for effective diagnosis, and for that integrated public health labs will be opened across the district, 730 districts. Block public health units will be developed. Okay, then there will be the biosafety level labs that will be developed. Fine. What will be the biosafety level labs will be developed. Okay, health and wellness centers will be emphasized. Okay, and if you see, National Institute for One Health, National Institute for One Health, fine, will be established. Okay, so these schemes go hand in hand. Okay, so Pradhan Mantri, again I'm so Pradhan Mantri Ayushman Bharat Health Infrastructure Mission, PM Abhim, and for that around 64,000 crore rupees will be invested in health. Okay, and guys, one more thing is there, that see, for the specifically health, finances will also be needed. And when we talk about the finance, one specific scheme you can mention in your answer, fine, that is the Pradhan Mantri Swasthya Suraksha Nidhi. Pradhan Mantri Swasthya Suraksha Nidhi. What it is actually a non-lapsable fund. Non-lapsable fund. Now, this particular fund will be now a question comes that, okay, if this is a fund, from where the money will come in this fund? So basically, there is health and education cess. There is health and education cess that is being imposed by the government. Now, this money from this health and education cess will be deposited in this Pradhan Mantri Swasthya Suraksha Nidhi, and this particular fund will be used to improve the health in India. And all the schemes here, you can just pause the video. You can just pause the video, and if you want, you can take a screenshot. All these initiatives will be supported. Fine. So I hope that you have got the idea. Now moving back to our article. Then there is another article in the newspaper. Katchatheevu demands thinking outside the box. Katchatheevu demands thinking outside the box. Okay. Now, basically, guys, from past few days, this Katchatheevu Island dispute is being reported in the papers. Now, there is this particular article that is there. Okay, but I'll not advise you to go too much in this particular article. Why? Because what is happening? So basically, 1970, step by step, political history is being told that, okay, Indira Gandhi did this, then Vajpayee ji did this, that. No need to go in that particular thing. You need to know that what is this Katchatheevu Island, its geographical location, the political controversy that is going on, what can be suggested. You need not to go in too much of the details. Now, first of all, what is this Katchatheevu? So, Katchatheevu, it is an island. Katchatheevu, it is an island here. Okay, in the now here we have, yes, here we have India. Here we have Sri Lanka. Fine. Here we have Rameshwaram. So basically here this Katchatheevu Island is there. Katchatheevu Island is there. Now this particular now when we talk about the Katchatheevu Island, so Katchatheevu Island, now this island was transferred by India to Sri Lanka in 1974. It was transferred by India to Sri Lanka in 1974, and it sits just 33 kilometer away from the Indian coast. Fine, just 62 kilometer southwest of the Jaffna. Now, this particular island, it is not suited for permanent human settlement. Why? Because there is no source of drinking water in this particular island. Fine. Now, if it is not if there is no human habitation, then why Katchatheevu Island is becoming controversial between India and Sri Lanka? Now understand this thing, guys, that if Katchatheevu Island is given to Sri Lanka, it means that Sri Lanka gets extended rights in this particular area. Now, you might be knowing about the United Nations Convention on Law of Seas. Now, United Nations Convention of Law of Seas provide this particular thing that a country's exclusive economic zone will extend to 200 nautical miles from their coast. Now, if this area becomes a territory, if this area becomes a territory of Sri Lanka, what happens in this particular area? In this particular area, Sri Lanka gets higher rights. It can regulate the fishermen of India. Okay. So this is something that is there. Also, guys, as it becomes a territory, okay, till 12 nautical miles from the coast, you have territorial waters. There, so you enjoy absolute sovereignty. Till 12 nautical miles, so you enjoy absolute sovereignty. Okay. Now, what has happened? What has happened when we talk about the Katchatheevu Island? So Katchatheevu Island was actually it had around Katchatheevu there was a dispute between India and Sri Lanka. Now, India says that Katchatheevu was the part of Madras Presidency. It was a part of Madras Presidency, and as Madras Presidency is the part of India, Katchatheevu is India's territory. But Sri Lanka said that no, Katchatheevu was not India's territory. Okay. However, in 1974, this dispute was settled. This dispute was settled with the India Indo-Sri Lanka Maritime Agreement. Indo-Sri Lanka Maritime Agreement. Sri Lanka got the Katchatheevu Island. Okay. In 1976, fine, there were the additional agreement that was made between India and Sri Lanka with respect to the fishing rights in this particular area. Now, understand this particular thing, guys, that when we talk about Sri Lanka's situation in 1970s, Sri Lanka's situation in 1970s, at that point of a time, Sri Lanka did not bothered. Sri Lanka gave liberally right to India that they can send their fishermen to fish in this particular area. Why? Because at that point of a time, Sri Lanka's fishing industry was not that developed. Okay. But now what is happening? Fishing industry has developed. When we talk about, guys, India, India use India use bottom down trawling. India uses bottom down trawling. Okay. Now, what is this bottom down trawling? So basically, these are the specialized ships. These are the specialized ships, fine, which will throw a kind of a net, which will be attached with a kind of a weight. Now, this particular net is attached with the weight, and then ship will scoop everything that comes in this particular area. It will scoop everything. Now, this particular net will simply fall on the seabed. It will fall on seabed. So basically, anything that is coming here, it will scoop it away. Fine. This is the bottom down trawling that India uses. Now, because of that, what happens? Fishes, okay, young ones, they everything is wiped, and Sri Lanka has actually banned this bottom down trawling. Now, Indian fishermen, they come in this particular area near the Katchatheevu Island with their ships, and then they are detained, then they are arrested. Okay, so this is the issue that's right now going on. Now, first of all, when we talk about this Katchatheevu Island, so Union government has informed the Supreme Court in 2013 that reclaiming Katchatheevu is not relevant. Why? Because Katchatheevu was actually not the part of Indian territory. Okay, it was a disputed territory, and we have settled that in 1974. Okay, and also in 2022, Union government said that actually Katchatheevu lies on the Sri Lankan side of the India-Sri Lanka international maritime boundary line. So fine, it is the international boundary between India and Sri Lanka, so it falls on the Sri Lanka side. So this is something that has happened. Now, guys, this is the additional things not provided in this article. Not provided in this article. So I hope that you have understood it, and please do download also this article, this page. Now, what this article is talking about. So recently, Prime Minister has started engaging with the fishermen from Rameshwaram region. Fine. And this particular thing is coming on the cards that should be that a decision of ceding Katchatheevu Island to Sri Lanka, was that decision wrong? Should we reclaim? Okay, because of that, many hardships are being faced by the Indian fishermen, Tamilian fishermen. They are being arrested, they are being shot down. Fine. Now, understand this particular thing, guys, that actually in 1970s, I told you bottom down trawling. So bottom trawling was introduced in India. Why it was introduced? It was introduced because there was the prawns. Prawns was a delicacy in Japan and many other Southeast Asian countries. And for that we introduce this bottom trawling. And because we introduce bottom trawling, the tensions between India and Sri Lanka on the fishermen has increased. Why? Because Sri Lanka does not uses this bottom trawling, India uses. Sri Lanka says that, first of all, as you are scooping everything from seabed, you take away all the fish is not able to replenish, and also it is leading to a lot of environmental damage, which in the long run will reduce the fish. So because of this bottom trawling, which was introduced in India because of this prawn demand, it has led to the problem, and this problem is continuing since then. So guys, I hope that you got a very good command. Now what is need? Number one, we need to come out with some innovative solutions. What is innovative solution? We can take lease back the Katchatheevu island from Sri Lanka. We can take Katchatheevu on a lease. Okay, on a lease. And we should allow the Indian fishermen in this particular water. Also, Indian fishermen should be allowed the restricted fishing rights in the Sri Lankan waters, and for that, some monetary arrangement can be done between India and Sri Lanka. Second thing is that we need to have an out of the box thinking in this particular Park Bay region. Now, it is becoming a kind of a contested territory between India and Sri Lanka. But rather than making it as a contested territory, we need to find a way that how both the nations can benefit out of it. Okay, so basically, what can be done? We should ban the fishing equipments which are banned in Sri Lanka, particularly bottom down trawling, because environmentally also it has become controversial. So this is something that can be done. Shared fishing schedule, fine, between the India and fishermen, so that both can access the resource. So this is something that can be done. That is all about it. And now moving to next article. Okay. Economy takes front seat in 2024 campaign. Okay, so I think photograph we did not put here. Okay, so this particular article actually came in this editorial section of the Hindu newspaper. Okay, and the article is saying that what has happened. Article is saying that economic issues have become a major point of agenda by the political parties in this particular election. Now understand this thing that actually it is good also, because in past we have seen that political contests that have happened, they have happened on the lines such as political contests that have happened in India. They have happened on the lines such as caste, such as religion. But now finally what is happening? Finally what is happening? We are recognizing the economic issues. Now, political parties, they are focusing on economic uncertainties, okay, in the agenda, topic of unemployment, price rise, that is inflation. They have become a primary concern for voters. So it shows that voters, they are moving from political ideologies to more economic issues, to more of the economic issues, which is a good thing. Now, has happened, there is a survey also that has been conducted by the CSDS Lokniti. CSDS stands for Center for the Study of Developing Societies. Center for the Study of Developing Societies. Now, this center was established by Rajni Kothari. Rajni Kothari, one of the renowned Indian social thinker. He also has talked about the four stages of politicization of caste in India. Fine, politicization of caste in India. Now, this Lokniti survey reveals that actually what is happening, voters are now concerned about the issues such as employment, fine, high prices, inflation, increasing corruption, rising rural distress that is there. Okay, so there is a very clear economic distress that is there in the public, and this economic distress is visible across the class lines. Not it is the fact that only poor are concerned with this, but across the lines people are concerned with it. Now, according to this CSDS Lokniti survey, it is provided that two-thirds of the people respondents, they believe that it has become difficult to secure jobs. Fine. A large number of people also believe that it is government's responsibility to increase the job opportunities. Also, it is being provided that there is a visible price rise, visible inflation that has been there in past 5 years. Fine. Also, there is a perception that the quality of life shows a visible divide. What happens? The divide between rich and poor, it is becoming visible. Inequality is coming. Fine. Poor people particularly are not able to even meet their basic necessities of life. So basically political parties, they also need to frame their election campaign around unemployment, around social justice program, rather than focusing on the other aspects. And it is very much important for both the ruling party as well as the opposition party to show the clear way forward, to show the clear strategies that how they are going to deal with these economic problems if they come to power. Fine. So this is something that is needed, and in democracy we need to always respect the voters expectations. Fine. Now, one thing, guys, that one case use just I'm telling you that in GS1, this is a very important theme, the politicization, and particularly if you are from PSIR, what you can do, you can simply use this particular example, that is the CSDS Lok Niti survey, and how the axis of politics in India. Now, here you can say, now you can say that the of politics axis of politics in India is shifting from caste and religion to economic issues. Who depicted? CSDS Lok Niti survey. Moving on. Corruption has risen over past 5 years, says 55% respondents. Now, this article is also again from this CSDS Lok Niti survey. This article is also from the CSDS Lok Niti survey. So, according to this CSDC Lok Niti survey, it has been provided that 55% of the respondents who were surveyed in this exercise, they said that corruption has actually increased in the past 5 years. And now see, this CSDS Lok Niti survey, it happens before the election. So last elections were in 2019, then it was conducted, now 2024 it is being conducted. And it says that actually what has happened, number of people believing that the corruption has increased, their number has gone up by 15 percentage points, 15 percentage point. For example, when we talk about the people who believed that the corruption is decreasing, their number was 37% in 2019, but their number is now 19%. People who says corruption is decreasing, earlier 37% people in 2019 said corruption is decreasing, now only 19% people say that the corruption is decreasing. So there seems to be an increase in the corruption according to the people's perspective. Fine, according to the people's perspective. And this is evenly distributed. Fine, village, town, city, people, evenly they have given a kind of a same response. Also it is evenly distributed even in terms of the economic status. Fine. Also, when asked that, okay, whom they think is more responsible for corruption, so they held both union as well as state government are responsible for the corruption. Now, when we talk about corruption, guys, this is some additional information that's there. So 2023 corruption perception index was also released couple of months back. Now, corruption perception index, it ranks 180 countries on level of corruption. Now, this particular index is released by Transparency International. Now, 2023 index, it ranks 180 countries. Now, India was ranked 93 out of 180 countries in this CPI 2023. So it follows a scoring pattern. So countries getting 0 score means highly corrupt. Countries getting 100 score means they are very clean. Okay. Then here we have an article, NIIF invest 200 million in iBus to expand digital infrastructure. Now, what this NIIF is? So when we talk about NIIF, it stands for National Investment and Infrastructure Fund. Fine, it stands for National Investment and Infrastructure Fund. Now it is a government backed entity. It is an organization which aims to provide the long term capital for the development of infrastructure sector. In this NIIF, 49% stake is of government and rest 51% stake it is held by the foreign and domestic investors. It is a kind of a semi-sovereign fund. It is a kind of a semi-sovereign fund. Now understand, a sovereign fund is any fund which is 100% held by the government, and that fund invests in certain critical sectors such as infrastructure or anything such as. But here, as government holds a substantial stake, 49%, but apart from that, other players are also there. We can call it as a semi-sovereign fund, which will specifically invest into the infrastructure development. Okay, now it was set up in 2015, and it is headquartered in New Delhi. So this NIIF, it has invested around $200 million in iBus Network and Infrastructure Private Limited. Fine. Now this particular entity, it is going to support the India's digital infrastructure. It is going to support India's digital infrastructure. Fine. Now understand this thing, guys, that we are moving with the Digital India mission. In this Digital India mission, we need to provide the optic fiber network connectivity to the villages. We need to provide the adoption of digital technologies. Fine. So, in order to build the digital infrastructure, this iBus has been supported. iBus has been supported. Fine. Beyond that, much thing is not there. Now, moving on, a definite lack of jobs, a definite lack of jobs. So here we have some data with respect to the unemployment scenario in India. Okay, so this data can be used in your answers to authenticate your answers. So what has happened recently, a report was released by ILO, International Labor Organization, and the Institute for Human Development, and they say this particular thing, that 2 out of every 3 employed individual was a young graduate. Unemployed individual was a young graduate. Now here we have some data. Unemployment across the states, you can see that Goa has the highest unemployment rate, around 10%, nearing to the 10%. Goa has the highest unemployment rate. Then after Goa, we have Kerala, we have Haryana, we have Punjab. Now, when we talk about the states such as Haryana, Punjab, fine, they come in category of rich states. When we talk about Kerala, Kerala happens to have one of the best and highest social indicators, but still unemployment in these particular states have been high. Okay. Now, when we talk about the national average unemployment, it stands at around 3%. It stands at around 3%. Okay, and so many of the states we see that they have higher than the national unemployment rate. Okay, then we see that here the relation between self-employment and unemployment, and it has been found that the state which have higher self-employment, their unemployment is low. Unemployment is low. States having higher self-employment, their unemployment is low. Okay, so this is, guys, about it. Here you can see the relation between urbanization and unemployment, and here you can see the shares of graduate and unemployment. Fine. So just a point is that you need not to do PhD on this particular data, that how it has been collected, what was the sample size and all such. Just these particular data can be referred in your answer along with the source, that is a report by ILO and Institute of Human Development. Okay, because understand this thing, that when you are writing answers mainly in the society, fine, humanities paper, fine, largely it see, when you're writing about a scientific phenomena, it cannot be disputed. But when you are writing on humanities, always there is a chance that it will be disputed. So therefore you need to support your answers with the help of some data, some studies. So therefore these data and studies can be used in your answer quite effectively. So that is all, guys, about it. And with this we come to an end to the today's session. I hope you have liked it, and now we'll be meeting tomorrow. Till then, take care of yourselves, and please like the video if you have liked it. Thank you so much.